Hi, I am Dana Ball, and welcome to our 14th broadcast. We are here to help you business owners feel uncomfortable. That's right, that's what I said. We want you to feel a little bit uncomfortable after watching our broadcasts because we want you to see something that you can tweak or change in your day-to-day to help you bring peace of mind to you as you're running your business, to help you avoid a legal mess. So today we are going to talk about single member LLCs. What we are not talking about is the reason we set up a legal entity. If you need that information, please go back and watch number 6, broadcast number 6. Today we are simply focusing on a single member LLC. Now what is that? That is one owner. It can be an individual, it can be an entity. It is not a husband and wife. It is not you and a friend. It is one individual or one entity. It is a single member LLC. These are pretty common, and we like them because they're easy to manage. But I want to bring up a misconception right off the bat. There are other ways of registering your single member LLC in Utah without hiring an attorney. The problem that I have run into is that clients who hire someone else to do this for them, they simply get the registration. And that's great. That is the first step in making sure that you are fulfilling the whole point of setting up a legal entity is to protect your personal assets. That is the first step, to register. But there is more, and that's where an attorney comes in. You do need to maintain that entity. And if you get this set up right with an attorney like us or someone else, we will provide you the documentation you need to maintain the single member LLC. The reason I think that you don't get the maintenance part of it is because the misconception is that because it's a single members aren't obligated to do all of the maintenance that multi-member LLCs should be doing. And that is wrong. That is the misconception. A single member needs everything else, the same exact documents that a multi-member LLC needs and requires. But it's easier because you're just dealing with yourself. So everything that you have to do, you work it out on your own with your own, how you want to proceed. So it's more complicated when you bring on that second owner or multi-owners, because then you've all got to be on the same page and talk about terms and talk about how things are going to go. But when it's just yourself, you still need to do the maintenance that's required for the legal entity. It's just easier because it's just you. You're the one leading the show. So today we're going to talk about the steps that you need and that we take when we register and show our clients how to maintain an LLC for one owner. So single member LLC is all we are focusing on today. All right. When you sign up with us, one thing we like to do is we have set fees. So we have a set fee to get this done for you. We don't charge you extra for registration fees. Everything is included. Once that you have purchased a single member LLC from us, we will send you a questionnaire. And that questionnaire will ask you a few things. So these are the things I want you to be thinking about when you're getting ready to set up your single member LLC. What will be the name of the business? What will be the address where you will be operating? Are you selling services or are you selling goods? Will it be you, your name as the owner, or will it be an entity? That can happen, but that's a conversation for a different day. We won't get into that today. Who will be the registered agent? And when do you plan to run your first payroll? Even if it's just you getting going, you still need to think about running a payroll. And that's a question for your CPA. So those are the questions you need to think about. Then we get your responses. And the first thing we do is we reserve your name in the state of Utah. Normally, for the most part, those names get approved within 24 hours. Once in a while, that name is taken. And so then we have to come back to you and we work with you to try and figure out a different name or how you want to go about getting a name registered with the state of Utah. So once we have the name approval, then we process through the registration. And that involves answering several questions. And we work with you to make sure those questions get answered appropriately for your type of business and what you plan to do with the business. We don't want you to be stuck into something that isn't really how you're going to operate. So we make sure as we go through it, we answer the questions and then we go through them with you. You would have a consultation with me to go through all of the responses before it's finalized. Through that process, we also then apply for your employer identification number, which is your EIN. Every legal entity needs its own EIN with the IRS. Then, once we complete everything, it gets registered with the state of Utah. We print up and have your articles of organization. Those are very important. All of these documents are very important to keep because you'll need them when you go open up a bank account. You'll need them to show in case you're ever sued, to show that you got your business set up right from the get-go and you're really operating like that business. But it doesn't end there. And that's the misconception, that it ends there. Once you get your articles of organization, you're good. No, there are a few more things you need. You need an operating agreement. Even if it's just you, you still need an operating agreement. Yes, it may seem weird because it's a contract between you, the individual, and your new business. You are two separate beings. That business now has its own EIN number, so its own tax ID number, like you have your own social security number. That business has its own birth date. The date of registration becomes the date that it opened and became officially a business in the state of Utah. It is its own separate being. So yes, the operating agreement is a contract essentially with yourself, but you are in an agreement, a legally binding agreement between you and your new business. Now, without the operating agreement, what people can prove if they try and take legal action against you is that your business is just your alter ego. It is not really you. It is not really its own entity. It's just you. And what will happen is the rules will default to the state of Utah rules. So it's kind of like if you die without a will, then the state of Utah's laws decide how your estate will be divided up. It's exactly like that. So now with an operating agreement, you're in control. You decide how your business is going to be run. You decide, you take care of the alter ego problem because you're showing it's not a sole proprietorship. This is a real business. I've got a contract with this business. I have obligations as the member of the business to follow through. Also in the operating agreement, you would put terms in there. You know, what's going to happen if you do want to bring on investors and how that will go. You put terms in there. What if you want to hire employees? What if you want to hire somebody in particular to manage? You can do that. But then they're obligated to the terms in that operating agreement. That manager has to follow the duties, the duty of care, for example, that is passed on through an official limited liability company operating agreement. Okay, that's the first thing that a lot of single member LLCs don't have. The second thing is what we call a unanimous consent form. These are vital because these documents, we set them up as a template so that you can use it over and over again. And what you want to use the unanimous consent forms, it's documenting important decisions is how I define it. So anything that could be important, if you can document it by filling out the form, which is simply the date, you are the member and the manager, and what it is that happened. So I'm going to give you some examples of important things that you would want to document. So let's say you do hire that manager. Let's say you want to pay that manager a certain salary and set them up on a certain bonus system. Document that in a unanimous consent form. Let's say you want to take out a loan for the business. That can be documented. What if you wanted to engage in what we consider a material contract, like a lease agreement or some type of servicing agreement for your business? That could be documented. What if you want to start providing pension or profit sharing for your employees? That would be awesome, but document how that's going to go. What if you move to a new location? Document that. When you bring on an investor or another partner, document that. So a single member LLC is really simple to manage, but I always advise as much documentation as you can muster up, you can handle. Please do it, because at the end of the day, that documentation will save your butt. To be able to show, it's evidence to show that you are a real company. This is not just a sham. You are operating like a real company. You are separating yourself individually from that separate entity that you have created to protect those personal assets. And it will ultimately provide you that protection if you do it the right way. So you've got the registration, which is the first step. You've got the maintenance of the LLC, which is the second step. I go into more of maintenance requirements in that broadcast number 6. So please go back and watch that if you haven't seen that. But then the final thing that we provide our clients is what we call an LLC owner's manual. It's like your go-to. It is your handbook on how to maintain that LLC appropriately depending on the circumstances for you, your type of business, and how you want to run your day-to-day operations. It is a really great tool that you can use from going forward throughout the life of your LLC. So again, have an attorney do this for you. Get it done right from the start. Start documenting so that you are protected. Failure to fulfill any of your obligations, it will compromise you individually and the LLC, and it will result in personal liability, which you don't want. You want to avoid that. That's the whole point of setting up a legal entity. Okay, my last question that I want to leave you with. If you already have an LLC set up, a single member LLC, go back and review the documents. Let's see if you have everything that you need to maintain it. If you don't, I want you to figure out your plan to get the operating agreement in place, to get the unanimous consent forms that you need. Call me, call another attorney in Utah. Small business attorneys are here to help you when you need it. So please get everything you need to keep your business and yourself protected. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.